the IJC does not consider radionuclides to be a chemical of mutual concern. Consequently, they are not able to dial up the dollars to do the science that is required in order to test and measure and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And when it comes to, you know, the impact that nukes have in our basin.
You believe that there's radioactive waste in the Great Lakes?
There are routine.
On ships,
there are routine,
trains?
There are routine radioactive releases every day.
From?
You know, they come from nuclear power plants that the government sanctions. We're not talking about accidental, you know, releases. We're talking about routine releases.
And you're saying the IJC doesn't really have it, it's not put on a chemical of concern list or anything like that?
Right, right. So their science advisory board can't even go about the job of finding the funding to do the science necessary to even weigh in one way or the other about the problems of, you know, radiation in the Great Lakes Basin.
And you had
part of my argument that I was making is that because our government has not been able to establish a repository for high-level nuclear waste, it's piling up on the shoreline of the Great Lakes Basin. There are, you know, over 30 nuclear reactors around the basin, and so it's just piling up on the shores. You know, some are in dry cask storage. Some of it's just piling up, like at Fermi down in Monroe. It's just piling up in the fuel pools, the spent fuel pools on the top of the reactor. Well, I mean, my analogy is that it's like, you know, we built nuclear power is the most expensive form of, you know, energy production out there. So we built the mansion. We forgot to put in the toilet. You know, it's like if I was a building inspector on any other kind of a building project, I would have a problem with the fact that there's no way to handle the waste. This is a fundamental flaw in the whole, it is a technologically flawed system to begin with.
And just a question, what happens to that mansion without a toilet if the proposed Trump budget cuts go through, with huge cuts to the Great Lakes Restoration Initiative and stuff?
Exactly. I mean, it just continue to just pretend that we don't have a problem.
And what would you like IJC to do?
Well, I want them to start to put. I know that they don't have any. They are not. They have. This is a dog with no teeth. They can't really bite, but they can bark, and they can issue statements of support.